soy Jesse Panther, yo soy el cargo de 4 marcas en la empresa de Forus. La razón que estamos acá hoy día es para lanzar y potenciar un tremendo tema, un producto nuevo que tiene la marca Merrell, eso de las zapatillas Barefoot, que es una manera para reenseñar al cuerpo, para reencontrar el contacto con la naturaleza.
Hoy día va a estar con nosotros Robillard, que es una eminencia en el tema de Barefoot. Él es corredor de ultramaratones, él corre a pata pelada en el fondo, Barefoot, y también con todo el tema de la zapatilla minimalista.
Tenemos la suerte de traer uno de los mejores deportistas que hay en Estados Unidos. Jason es increíble lo que hace, ninguno de nosotros podemos entender la magnitud del deporte que él practica, que para correr en distancias muy largas.
Eso podría decir que es un corredor de ultramaratones más que aficionado. Ha terminado hartas maratones, pero más que eso es un muy buen instructor y una persona muy interesante que sabe mucho al respecto de correr con la forma correcta y un personaje.
Y él es un embajador de la marca Merrell porque a él le gusta ese concepto de reenseñar su cuerpo cómo trotar y correr. Entonces nosotros hemos traído a Jason acá para respaldar un poco, para traer una figura, un artista como dicen ustedes en Chile, para ayudarnos a lanzar y también para mostrar que la gente que son los mejores en lo que hacen ellos, igual están ocupando las zapatillas Barefoot para hacer su deporte.
Today we're going to hold a clinic to teach people how to run with more efficiency. Thank you everybody for being here. My name is Jason Robillard, and today I'm going to talk about barefoot minimalist shoe running and running form. I started teaching clinics about barefoot running, wrote a book, and eventually started working with Merrell. Eventually I started running longer and longer races, and I started running in terrain that really wasn't conducive to barefoot running. That's when I started wearing minimalist shoes. Our methods have 3 simple steps. If you master these 3 steps, you will become a better runner, I guarantee you. The 3 steps that we do, that we have people do, starts with aligning posture, which has to do with straightening out your spine. A lot of runners run like this. They're kind of slouched over. We want to be standing upright. So we're going to put our hands out in front of us like this and turn our palms facing away. And once we're in this position, we're going to stretch our hands over our heads. And that force goes up your leg, to your knee, to your hips, to your back, all the way up your spine. And you can actually test this by jumping up in the air and landing and trying to land softly. But if you don't bend your knees, it hurts a lot. So that's the first step, aligned posture. The second step is a balanced foot landing. You want to be in a position where your foot is under your body, where you'll be able to balance like this. How your foot hits the ground is another concern. We don't want to land on our heel really hard. We also don't want to run on our toes. We want to try to land with our foot flat on the ground. So both the ball of our foot and our heel touch the ground. So that's balanced foot landing. The C part of this, or the third part of this, we call it the ABCs. First one is aligned posture, A, B, balanced foot landing, C, cadence. And cadence is the number of steps you take per minute. Many runners take very long strides and will have a very, very low cadence. So if you count the number of steps that they're taking per minute, it's actually very, very, very slow. That's how most runners run. So those are the ABCs. If you can do those three things, align your posture, land with your feet close to under your center of gravity, and C, run with a faster cadence, you'll be well on your way towards running with good form. Okay, this is the point usually where I do some questions, but before that, I want to put those three steps into action. The last thing I want to talk about is shoes in particular, and minimalist shoes. This is a typical, what we call a barefoot minimalist shoe. The idea behind the shoe is it's going to allow us to run with the same form as if we weren't wearing shoes at all. A traditional running shoe that has a really high heel and a lot of cushioning changes the way that you run. So these shoes have a few qualities that make them unique. They have a zero drop heel. The forefoot is the same thickness as the heel, so it's flat. The wider toe box allows your toes to spread out as you're running. And lastly, they're really flexible, so they allow your foot to move the way it's supposed to move. And there's a few different varieties. This is the most minimal shoe. This would be the most barefoot-like. This is the same type of shoe, zero drop, wide toe box, but it's built for water sports, kayaking, windsurfing. There's also a shoe that has a 4mm raised heel. This is a shoe that would be used to transition from a traditional running shoe, which most people run in, eventually down to something like these. This would be a step down. Finally, the Merrell Bare Access. This is a shoe that is zero drop, but it has a little bit of cushioning. Some people like this because cushioning is a little more comfortable. I like these if I'm ever going to run really long distances on roads. The most I've ever gotten out of them was about 1,600 miles out of one pair. And the reason why they last so long is there's nothing inside the shoe to break down. Like a traditional running shoe with foam, that EVA foam is going to wear down. And that's all I have as far as information that I wanted to share. Questions? Does anybody have questions?
¿Se necesita un tiempo de adaptación para llegar a la zapatilla plana?
You do. Most people take about 1 to 2 months to fully transition. Some people do it faster, some people do it slower, but there is a transition period while your body adapts.